What's going on, everyone? So, let's talk about long term contracts and the risks. Here we go. I hope everyone is having a good day. You're enjoying your weekend. Hopefully, it's a nice long weekend for you and you're getting the much needed relaxing time and spending time with your families. All right. Um, so I wanted to do a video today about long-term contracts and their risks that come with it. It was just something that was on my mind over the last couple of days, and of course, with the Shohei Otani signing and the recent Yoshinobu Yamamoto signing, it started to make me think about other players who have signed 10, 11-year contracts, 12-year contracts, and the the risks that are associated with it, the money that's being paid out, right? So I want to try and break this down and look at it from both sides, right? So if we look at it from the the player's perspective and their agent, right? The agent is going to try and get the best deal possible for their player for their agent, right? The the player at the end of the day, they want to get paid, they want that sense of security, they want that guarantee. Understandably so. They want to sign, they do want to sign a long-term contract with a team and get paid that money and have that money guaranteed no matter what happens, right? If they happen to miss a game, or if they happen to miss multiple games, or if there's a setback for any reason, or even if they're not performing up to expectations, that that money that they're getting is still guaranteed, right? Uh, Players want that. They want to have options. They want to have those opt outs where they're able to opt out of a contract and go test the market. They could also ask for, or their agent can ask for, a no trade clause, which puts players at a great advantage, because then, if with a no trade clause, they can veto a trade if a team tries to get their player to waive their no trade clause because they want to trade them. The player can simply decline. So that offers a lot of security for a player. Okay. Um, and again, players want to make sure they have their long term, as in their baseball career, is safe, it's secure, and it's guaranteed, right? And they like having their options, especially with the opt outs and the no trade clause, which I'm not a big fan of the no trade clause, but that's a conversation for a different day. And the agents, they have to look out for uh, or yeah, the agents have to look out for their players. They have to look out for their clients. So they're trying to get the best deal possible because there's something in it for them as well. So there is that security blanket for them as well. You know, they're doing their jobs as they should, as it is to be expected. Now let's flip it to the baseball team side, the organization, right? Whether the general manager, the owner. Um, there is a risk involved in these contracts, right? And again, I'm not just talking about the recent signing of Shohei Otani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I'm just talking players in general. We can bring up some names, right? We can bring up Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Giancarlo Stanton. You know, guys like that we can talk about, because those names that I just mentioned, the last four, with Stanton, Bogaerts, Machado, Tatis Jr., these guys all have no trade clauses, right? So they can use that. If their team tries to trade them to another team, they can easily say no. And here's some problems, right? So that's one of the problems is that if a player has a no trade clause, um, that team is stuck with them, and they could potentially be hogging a roster spot, right? They could, if teams want to make a move, they can't because they're stuck with this one player. They're stuck with multiple players on the roster, so they can't pivot. They can't move on from them. Um, they can't eat their money if or they could eat their money, but it'd be a lot. Um, there's just not. Um, they're limited in their options and what ball clubs can do, right? The other thing with these long-term risks, given these these contracts that are 10, 11, 12 years, sometimes things don't pan out the way teams had hoped. You know, sometimes players don't perform up to expectations. They don't live up to their contract. When these contracts are given, players are you're basically telling these players, we expect you to perform at a very high level, or here's what we're expecting out of you. And based on who that player is and what they have done, it's only right that you expect that, right? But sometimes injuries do occur. It's inevitable. It's part of the sport. Injuries occur. They could be missing a lot of time off the field. Okay. And then they have to go through the rehab, and then they have to take some more time getting their body right, and getting healthy, coming back to the field and to play the game. And then again, maybe another injury occurs. It's just that bad luck may occur again, where an injury happens and it's going to give them another setback. There's some players in the league, unfortunately, as good as they are, when they're good, they're on. But a lot of times there are times where they get hurt and they miss a lot of games. Okay, they miss so many games, and it hurts. It hurts the baseball teams because they gave out these long-term contracts, and if throughout their career they played, they were injury plagued and they were very, very fragile throughout their time with this team. They didn't get the best out of these guys, and then the next thing like 10, 11 years passes by, the player is a lot older. His performance is not going to be what it used to be. The body's going to wear down for a lot of these guys. And again, it's inevitable. These things happen with athletes at some point. Their performance starts to decline a little bit, and they're not the player that they used to be. And it does, and it does hurt to see that. But again, part of the game. So that's where I was going with the risk part of it, right? If they get hurt, right? If they don't perform up to expectations, if they're showing lack of hustle, that if they're causing problems in the clubhouse, if they just have an overall bad attitude, a lot of these things do come into play. When you're signing a player, there is great risk involved because these things can occur, and you don't, as a baseball fan, you want players to do well. You don't really want anything bad to happen to them, but these things do happen. And so my question now is this, will there be a time where, owners may be more reluctant to give out these long-term contracts because of, some risks that may occur, such as injury or bad attitude or not performing up to expectations, and being stuck with these guys. And even if you wanted to trade them, depending on who the player is and the money that's being paid to them, some teams may be hesitant to take these guys on. And and the teams that's trading them, are they willing to eat some of that contract? Do you think that baseball teams might pivot to more of like offering contracts between, let's say, 5 and 7 years or 5 and 8 years instead of going, the 10, 11, or 12 years, just because of a lot of the risk that comes with it. Like I was talking about before with the injuries and player performance. Or, will there be a different way of structuring contracts if you're going to give out these like 10 or 11-year, 12-year contracts? Is there going to, are contracts going to be structured differently? Meaning, you're going to be paying players based on performance, based on metrics, and this was something that was talked about with Uncle Tats and the Pinstripe Chronicles After Dark. It was something that was talked about with Uncle Tats and Sunil, and shout out to those guys. So it just started to, over the last couple of days, it just started to make me wonder about, the money and the contracts that are given out to these players. So so now the other question I'm asking is, when these contracts are given out, are they going to be structured or should they be structured with incentives, or do you think that it will, something like that will be considered in the future? And there's some players that when they do sign a deal with the team, there are incentives based on player performance and innings pitched, for example, or games played. They get an extra amount of money for these things. Do we think that we will see more of that? That remains to be seen. We'll see. I'm thinking, just my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right on this, but I do feel that whenever you're giving out 10, 11, 12-year deals, there should be, there should be some, metrics or some sort of deal involved where it's like, okay, if you will get this money if you perform, you do these things, like you played this many amount of games, you get this amount of RBIs, home runs, have this batting average. Will there be something like that in the future? We don't know. It's complicated. It would make deals and contracts more complicated, just because of how these deals are given out. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about. It's something I thought about in the last few days, and it just made me wonder. But you all tell me what you think. You all tell me what you think about what I talked about. If you agree or disagree, if you think I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm open to your guys' comments, your suggestions, and your thoughts and feelings. That's I like having these types of I like having this type of dialogue, because it just it opens up things for other discussions, right? So that's all I got for now. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, share this out. I'm 7 subscribers away from my first 100 subscribers. I'm trying to get to my first 100 subscribers by the end of the month. And once I break that 100 subscribers, at some point, I do want to start doing live streams and start interacting with all of you. All right. You all see me in some of the other channels, and I interact with some of you guys there. Sometimes I'll co-host with Uncle Tats. Sometimes I'll jump on the open panel with Jason from 161 River Ave. So and Uncle Tats and some of the other guys. So yeah, I'm trying to get to the break that 100 subscriber number. That way I can start doing more live streams and start chatting with you guys. That's all I got for now. I will see you all later. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy your weekend. And see you next time.